Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. On today's video I am going to be showing you guys how I was able to create these flowers. I did this originally for my birthday party in January, and I still had people asking me how I was able to create them, and because my sister asked me to make them for her baby shower background, I decided why not just make a video on it now. There is different ways you can create the actual rose petal onto paper. I am going to show you guys what I have been using. I actually printed these off of Google. These are templates that I went ahead and printed out. I will be linking some of these down below for you guys so you guys can have access to the link I used to be able to print them out. I am going to show you guys some of the tools you're going to be needing for these flowers. First of all, you're going to be needing scissors. I cannot express how important these are. These are where you're going to be getting your shape out of. A few different things you're going to need is you could use glue, double-sided tape, regular tape, or you could use a hot glue gun, which is what I'm going to be using today. In the past, I've always used the glue. These are optional options of what you want to work with at home. You can try some different ones out and see what works best for you. You're also going to be needing paper. This is a little bit harder than regular paper, more like cardboard paper. And I do have some of the regular paper that you might see around. You could use both of the paper. It's pretty much up to your choice of how thick or thin you want them to be. This is using the cardboard paper, and it's a bit thicker. This is using more like a softer piece of paper. They both hold their shape pretty well. So it's up to you how much you want to invest in the paper and how much you want to invest in making the flowers. Now let's get started on making the flowers. Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper toda. The first thing you're going to want to do is get what size shape you're going to want to do. This is the one I decided to get here. What you want to do is cut out the actual first trace. It doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, but you want to stay within the line. That's the first shape there. So from here, what you want to do is get what color paper you're going to be working with. You're going to need 6 cutouts of each color that you're going to be doing for the flower. So if this is your first shape, you want to go ahead and do 6 petals for your flower. I'm going to take one shorter and just start off with this one here. I think this one makes it a bit too big. Once you have the shape that you're going to want to start off with, you want to go ahead and get the paper and start cutting out on the actual paper. So what you'll do is just put it right there and then just start tracing around it. Once you have done all of these, you want to get 6. You're going to go ahead and cut this to a shorter layer, which is the one right next to it. Once you have your size, you want to go ahead and put it again on another piece of paper. And you want to go ahead and cut around that also. And then you're going to keep doing that to every single one. Like I mentioned, you do want to get 6 of each color. Unless you're going to be doing more, then you feel free to cut more out. Once again, you're going to want to put it on the paper and continue the same process until you're finished with your template. Once again, trace this one out. Alrighty, so once you have had all 6 cut out, I am going to now show you guys the next step. Once you have all your 6 pieces cut out, this is what you're going to want to do. I usually start off with the bigger size. You're going to want to grab all 6 of them. You could use your glue stick and you want to just bend one of the sides. It doesn't really matter at this moment which one you bend. And just roll it. You want to apply a bit of pressure onto the actual paper. What you're trying to get is kind of a fold onto the flower. Or you could use your own hands and just gently bend it. Like this. You're going to want to repeat this process to all of your flowers. Once you have done that, you're going to want to go ahead and grab your rose petals with the folding back. Grab your scissors and you're going to want to cut about an inch, I want to say, up onto the actual rose petal. And like I mentioned, you're going to want to do this with every single rose petal. Once you have done that to all of your flowers, the next step is going to be to put them together. So what you want to do is grab this side and fold it onto. You're going to want to go ahead and fold it onto the other one on top. Like I mentioned, you could use double-sided tape, you could use glue, you can use your hot glue gun. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do it with all three, that way you guys kind of get an idea of how it's going to look. The first one, I'm going to use regular glue. All you're really doing is putting glue on one of the sides and grabbing the other side and folding it onto it. So, and you're going to want to repeat this to all of your flowers, even including the smaller ones. I am now going to use a double-sided tape. You just need a small, or you can use regular tape. Put it onto the flower and fold. Now I'm going to show you guys one with the actual hot glue gun. Just gonna put a dot on there. Whatever you have at home, I think would work fine as long as it holds together. I've used the glue and I've used the double-sided tape more than I've used a hot glue gun, and they've worked fine for me and they actually hold their shape. So whatever you feel more comfortable doing at home, or if you want to have kids help you with this, you can obviously just use what's safer to them, which you could just use glue. I'm going to go ahead and proceed to doing this with all of the rest of the flowers. Once you have all your flowers glued on the bottom, you're going to go ahead and we'll move on to the next step, which is combining them all together. I usually start off with the bigger ones. What you're going to want to do is overlap each rose petal. This is where my hot glue gun is going to come in handy. I'm going to put one dot of glue on there, putting the other rose petal right over it. And you're going to want to repeat this process for all 6 rose petals. You can use less rose petals. Sometimes 5 is fine. It's just depending on how close or how far apart you're putting your flowers. This is how the bigger one looks right now. Of course, once you start adding more to it, it holds a better shape. What you could also do, if they're a bit flimsy like this, you can use your double-sided tape and put them right next to each other. That way it holds each rose petal together, as you can tell. Once you put on the tape, it does make a difference. Alright, so that's how that looks. It only took 5 for this flower itself. I'm going to go ahead and continue with the smaller sizes. All I'm going to do is put glue on every single one to connect them all together. This is how the next shape came out. What you're going to want to do is now put these together. You could use your regular tape or you could use your hot glue gun to place it in there. I'm going to use the tape. put it right there in the center and put this one right over it. Just like so, that way I still have tape in there when I place the rest of my flower petals. I'm going to go ahead and continue with the smaller ones. Okay, once you have done the small one, you're going to want to do the same thing, put tape underneath and then put it on top. This is how my flower came out. Like I said, it all depends on paper that you use. I think this one was a bit thinner, so that way it looks a bit more flimsy, but if you decide to use a harder construction paper, it will still hold the same shape. I usually just put tape in the back and tape it onto the wall. It's up to you how you want to do that, or if you're doing it for a nursery, or if you're just doing it for decor. I hope you guys did like this video. Please give me a thumbs up for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys all in my next video.